From labeling him the oldest dude in the world for the role, to unearthing past movie feuds to support their outrage, here's why Barbie fans are pissed over Ryan Gosling playing Ken. And their very first argument was about his age. I mean, a 42-year-old guy playing the character of a plastic doll who's at the prime of his life in the ever-elusive Barbie land isn't something that makes sense to fans. Get us a younger Ken, they're saying. Isn't he too old to play this character? They keep asking. I mean, even Margot isn't in her teenage years or anything. But according to fans, at least her excitement and getup fit the bill. But for Gosling, well, they really don't seem to have a hotspot. In fact, they're so outraged it's funny, because people are going to super extreme lengths to point out his wrinkles and flaws to make him look old. The same people, might I add, who were drooling over him when The Gray Man came out. I mean, decide already, guys. Is he too hot or is he too old? Or maybe he's the ideal blend of both, making him the perfect Ken. Because believe it or not, Barbie's forever boyfriend is actually 62 at this point. So maybe age shouldn't be a factor here, should it? Plus, if you don't like his version of Ken, the film literally has 5 other versions of him for you to pick, so it's not like it's a one-for-all situation here. Even Priyanka Chopra supported the actor, saying that Ryan Gosling is an actor who will eternally be hot. Take that, Ken haters. But hey, it isn't just his age that they don't like. People also have a problem with Ryan's reason for picking the character. In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Ryan revealed the exact moment he knew he had to play this role. He said that after receiving the offer from Gerwig, he was still thinking about it, until he walked out into his backyard and found none other than Ken himself. Only the doll was fallen face down into the mud next to a squished lemon. Which makes sense, because who has ever paid attention to him? Ryan took this as a sign though, and even sent the same picture to Greta, quoting that his story must be told. And the whole thing's really funny. I mean, Ryan knows this isn't his movie, it's Barbie's world, and he's just living in it. All he wants is to tell Ken's side of the story to all the Barbie stans. But boy, oh boy, are those stans angry or what? According to them, Ryan's reason for accepting the character is super disrespectful. And it's as if he just picked the role out of pity. I mean, sure, if you call staring into a potential multi-million-dollar movie a pity decision, that's your call. But I think Ryan's super stoked to be playing Barbie's overly excited boyfriend. He's surprised at how the internet's clutching its figurative pearls, while imagining him in the film. But to him, that's hardly the point, because he's just a supporting role in Barbie's world. And he isn't wrong, guys. On the list of coolest Barbie companions, Ken doesn't make it to the top 10. But even that's not enough to console fans, because if they don't have a problem with Ryan's age or attitude, they've got a problem with his looks. I mean, we've all seen Ken, right? According to Mattel, he's a bland, generic boyfriend sort, who was only introduced in 1961 after people demanded Barbie to have a partner. And thus, Kenneth Sean Carson was born, which is his full name, by the way, to act as our girl boss's subservient escort. I know, it sounds all sorts of wrong when you say it like that, but guys, really, Ken was actually just created to fulfill the public demand for a Barbie couple. Not because he was supposed to be the hero of the story, which is why, for every glam and slam Barbie, there's a dull and boring Ken whom kids usually forget in the box, or throw away to live in the mud next to squished lemons. So when I heard fans saying Ryan's looks don't match the character, I was super surprised. Because if he doesn't look like your average Ken, who does? His deadpan expressions, the blonde hair, and the tanned, glammed-up looks, everything points towards one of the most popular Ken dolls of all time, the earring Magic Ken. Tell me these two don't look alike, I dare you. But on the other hand, there are a few fan picks who may convince me otherwise. Like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, I wouldn't call him the youngest guy in the crowd, but his comic timing and overall personality may give Ryan a run for his money. There's also Jacob Elordi, who definitely gives off some himbo vibes if you think about it. But not more than Troye Sivan, whose charming good looks could have taken down any Barbie. or even Ken for that matter. There's also Tom Holland, who has given 10 on 10 Ken vibes in every Marvel interview he's appeared in. Or even Channing Tatum, Chris Pratt, Robert Pattinson, or even, brace yourselves, Henry Cavill, if they were going for a super muscular, beast-hunting witch-type Ken, that is. Fans have quoted that any of these guys would have been better in the role, because they're either younger than Ryan or are classically attractive, a trait most Ken dolls have. But isn't Gosling too? Also, let's not forget the most important feature of his character, which is the fact that this dude is basically a glorified boy toy for every Barbie. I mean, he doesn't even have a personality of his own. Y'all heard me when I said he was subservient, right? That means he does everything that Barbie does without fail. In the words of the iconic Bruno Mars, he'll catch a grenade for you, throw his hands on a blade for you. He'll even leave Barbie Land to explore the ordinary world for you. Which makes him the perfect companion, who could tag along with his girlfriend without taking away her limelight. I mean, that'd be hard to do anyway if your girlfriend's Margot Robbie, but you get my point. Although, while I know I've talked a lot about Ken haters, not everyone hates Gosling for picking the role. There's fan support going around for him too, which is actually pretty wholesome because they seem to be as fascinated with him as his Ken is with Margot's Barbie. They're calling him the perfect Labrador-esque boyfriend, who's dumb enough to not even know what he'd do with Barbie if she spent the night with him. I mean, how can you hate such an innocent soul, guys? People are also saying that Ryan exudes just the right kind of Kenergy that's needed to play this role. And that was before this video of him dancing in a talent show became viral. Because after watching this, there was no one in the crowd who could defy that Ryan's been preparing for this role since 1992. Look at him go in that silk shirt of his. How can you not see him as the Ken of our time? Plus, I gotta say, even I had my doubts. But after watching the actor support his Kenergy in every interview and press routine, I've also become a convert. I mean, the dude literally said that Greta and Margot conjured his inner Ken out for this movie, which is only a statement a true stan can come up with. Honestly, all these points are enough to turn even the most jaded Ryan critic into a fan. But if they don't, just know that they're still holding a grudge because of the Notebook feud of the 2000s. Yep, that's how far they're ready to go to call Gosling the wrong choice. Basically, the story is that back when they were filming The Notebook, Ryan and Rachel McAdams just couldn't stand each other at all. According to the director, they once started a yelling match so loud he had to leave the room for them to calm down. There are also reports from the crew that they couldn't even read their lines together sometimes. They used to get that pissed at each other. But how does this factor into the Barbie movie? Well, according to fans, that's a whole lot of negativity that Ryan could bring on set, ruining the entire feel of the film for fans. Now, I don't disagree with their claims and concerns, but you guys do remember how successful The Notebook was, don't you? I mean, it won practically every award of the year, and is still considered a classic in the romantic genre. Plus, let's not forget that despite their differences, the actors actually dated for 2 years after wrapping up the movie. So what's the problem here exactly? Because at this point, I just feel people are using made-up reasons to sour the fun and hype around the movie. But true Barbie stans will agree that you can be anything, like a 42-year-old playing a 62-year-old plastic doll, whose sole purpose in life is to follow his girlfriend around, whether in Barbie Land or the ordinary world beyond, even if it pisses off a few fans here and there. So, that's it, guys. From bringing up his past feuds with co-stars, to calling him the oldest Ken to ever exist, this was all the reasons why Barbie fans don't want Ryan Gosling to be in the movie.